Hello, I'm Joy McKnight, Transaction Banking and Payments Editor at Trade Treasury Payments. Ahead of the IFC Global Trade Partners meeting in Lisbon, the IFC and TTP are hosting the Women in Trade and Supply Chain Finance Network Roundtable. And I have here with me Dorothy Tembo, who's Deputy Executive Director at the ITC. Thank you so much for joining me, Dorothy.
Thank you for having me.
So I have some big questions for you. Women-led SMEs, or small, medium-sized enterprises, still face major barriers in accessing finance. What do you think are the most important things financial institutions can do to help to close that gap?
Once again, thank you for having me. And I think the question you pose is one that is very significant. I think one that all of us have become aware of the challenges that are, met by women in trying to grow their businesses. And I think our 60 years plus experience has taught us a number of lessons that we think are very helpful and also helped in terms of reshaping what we do in this space. From my perspective, first, I think there has to be an acknowledgement that women mainly have small businesses, which oftentimes are overlooked. Perhaps it's that missing middle that we talk about most of the time. And therefore, we have to learn to adapt the tools, the assessments, to enable these women to be able to be integrated into this process. Secondly, we've got to build the capacity. We can't talk about them having access to finance, and you really do not have the ability to be able to equip them so that they can, in real terms, be able to access the resources that might be at their disposal. Third, I would say we would need to make sure that in doing so, we're bringing on board the different partners that provide different services and products for us to be able to work with them in different ways, because you have different contexts for the many different women that we work with. Bringing in partners, bringing in the blended financing is very much part of what we have to do. So these are the three that I would see as key, but many, many more other elements that are equally important that we have to address.
Excellent. And initiatives like the WEIDE Fund and She Trades Invest are already supporting women entrepreneurs. What do these programs show about how targeting financing and support can really unlock potential for women-led businesses?
Simple. When you do it right, it does happen. And these two initiatives have actually shown that it can work. With WIDE, which is more recent than the She Trades Invest, we have clearly seen that women in the digital space can actually come forward and be able to ask for support and be able to move with this to try and adopt their own models to fit into the current context. Because I should say that this was one that was spearheaded very much post-COVID, where suddenly women being used to selling a direct transaction that moves a good from one place to the other didn't have the alternative. But in many ways, I think it opened our minds to actually have an understanding that we can do business differently, but they need to have the tools, as I said, and this is really part of what we were doing here. Secondly, on the She Trades Invest, identifying a network of credible funders or partners that could come in this space is what we have seen with over $11 million that we've managed to enable or facilitate to make sure that women are actually able to start trading. And believe you me, they have many, many ideas that could actually enable them to thrive and be able to do even better. So it does work, but you've got to have the whole system functioning. So from ensuring that they are not only aware of what is available, providing the capacity building, making sure that you have the partners coming in to support that process and enabling them to have access to the financing, whether blended or otherwise, is really what we have to do.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your insights, Dorothy. It was great to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.